I'm ready to talk about Mindhunters.
Hello and welcome to No Such Thing. Hello and welcome to No Such Thing as a
You gotta leave that weird voice Colin did right at the beginning of the episode.
Was that you doing like Homer Simpson?
It was.
Oh my god.
It was like, I like some frosty chocolate milkshake.
I'm ready to talk about Mindhunters.
Welcome to the No Such Thing as a Bad Movie podcast. I'm April Atmansky and I'm here today with
Justin DeClue. I don't have a Homer voice.
That's the Walter Matthau Homer.
Yeah.
Hello, boy.
Let's go to church. Classic Simpsons.
Colin Cunningham.
and today you may have heard we're talking about a little movie called Mindhunters. Now we are
I love David Fincher.
yeah, we're making
I love them. You beat me to it, Colin.
we're making up for a lack of Halloween episodes. So this isn't really like a horror movie, but I think it falls under the horror banner, horror thriller.
You know
for
what's
sure.
wild is that if we even had kept the Lost episode we did this month, it would have been an all-dimension movies season.
Oh,
That's funny.
yeah. It's like the Weinstein's names came up on the screen. I'm
Yeah.
like, Jesus, we can't get away from these guys.
Also,
The scariest of movies.
Johnny Lee Miller in
Yeah,
this
what
and
the hell?
Dracula 2000. Okay, so Mindhunters is from 2004.
Wait, this was Johnny Lee Miller? I could not tell from the perfect
know.
accent the man.
What are you talking about, man? That ain't Johnny Lee Miller.
God,
He's
awful.
British.
So my history with this movie, I think I only know about it because of you, Justin, and I don't know how or where, but I think you.
I played it during a 24-hour horror movie Mind Melter.
Yeah, but I didn't see it. I think because you played it at like a 1 a.m.
No, I played it
slot.
at like 10 a.m.
Oh, well, I missed it. But
Okay.
I feel like you either mentioned it to us or I read your Letterboxd review of it or whatever, because otherwise no one talks about this movie. Seemingly no one knows it exists.
Nope,
And,
not at all.
So we watched it.
I think he posted a death scene actually on Twitter, Justin.
Maybe.
And
I
that's
don't
how
Would it have been me? Did I post it?
I don't know.
think I,
Or maybe
like
you
I
reposted
don't want
it.
no spoilers of
Yeah,
who
not
died.
yet.
Maybe he gets frozen and breaks apart.
No spoilers, boy.
But we, why are you doing a Homer?
I don't know. Homer voice.
I don't know.
But yeah, so we watched this in 2020, right at the beginning of the pandemic, and I absolutely loved it because it's so dumb and so funny, but it takes itself really seriously and is a movie about an elite team of criminal profilers.
Yeah.
The whole thing is so bizarre, and it's a Rennie Harlan, so you know you're in for a treat.
Yeah. Man.
Let me put on Skip Trace, and that'll be fun, right?
No. Well, this at least like washes the taste of Driven out of, your
I've
mouth.
never seen Driven.
I've never seen that either, but it's by all accounts it's horrible.
What's his biggest movie? Did he do Cutthroat Island?
Yeah, and Cliffhanger I think is probably one of his
Cliffhanger.
biggest.
People
Die Hard
people
2.
like that.
Oh yeah, right.
See, again, like his movies have.
We've
their
had this
fans.
conversation. Rennie Harlan has come up like 10 times on
Yeah,
this
The
podcast.
Adventures of Ford Fairlane.
But okay, he did
The
that.
Covenant?
Yeah, okay. All right, The Covenant. So we have done one of his movies.
yeah.
Yes.
And loved it. Also loved it.
Did you do Con Air?
Oh, Deep Blue Sea. No, Con Air was Simon
Oh.
West.
Oh right, Deep Blue Sea is fun. Oh,
That's a lot of fun.
LL Cool J.
LL
Hey,
Cool J,
he
yeah.
knows what he's
Yeah.
doing, man.
Yeah.
Rennie Harlan. I like my memory of watching this movie in 2020 was that I really liked it, and I like when you suggested doing it for the podcast. I was like, I don't know why or how we watched it, but I just remember it looking like shit and thinking it was like a direct-to-video something.
I think you watched like a compilation video on YouTube, and was that before or after we watched it? I don't know.
I can't remember, but
Colin can't separate like a 10-minute best of clip in the movie that he watched.
No, but I just like if for some reason in my mind it was like 4:3 and it looked like shit, and then we rented it. And I'm like, fuck, this looks amazing. This is
This
great.
movie is shot on film, and it's early 2000s,
Yeah.
so...
And man, Harlan, he directs the shit out of this, man.
Do you
So
would you
stylish.
call
Have
him-
you seen Seven? I don't know what Rennie Harlan's accent is. But,
Would you call him a schlock auteur?
a vulgaro tourist? Yeah, absolutely.
Justin, why haven't you covered him on the Important Cinema Club?
We talked about a lot of his movies in passing, but yeah, we haven't done him as a filmmaker. We've even, me and Will Sloan, my co-host on the show, went to go see one of his Hong Kong movies in theaters in Toronto.
Oh my God, which
Is
one?
that what he's doing now?
Well, he ended up in Hong Kong and he made two movies. One of them a really fun, like one long night in a funeral home thriller called Bodies at Rest.
Okay.
And that one was really fun. He also made a big budget wuxia that stunk.
Oh.
The last two movies are baffling. He did like a Pierce Brosnan film that was a vanity project by like some rich guy who co-stars in the film.
Oh my God.
What, they
Written
just-
by Kurt Wimmer. It's called The Misfits. Pierce Brosnan rules in the movie. The movie stinks.
Oh my God.
And it looks like he did Class Reunion 3. Is this Russian? I'm not sure.
Oh, no. So he's been banished to like the Chuck Russell realm.
Did you see what is coming up? I posted it on Twitter. He directed 3 The Strangers movies that are
What?
going to be released as The Strangers Chapter 1, The Strangers Chapter 2, and The Strangers Chapter 3.
But there's
What?
already a 1. It's just chapter
And a
1.
2.
Maybe it's a prequel. Yeah. Yeah, there's already been 2 Strangers.
So they said it was a reboot at first, but according to the internet, no, it's actually going to be a continuation. Which, a continuation of what?
Yeah, there's nothing. there's no lore. It's just like whatever. They just keep going. Wow, good for him.
There was just too many stories, and I needed 3 movies to tell it all. It's like, huh? Okay, whatever you say, Rennie.
Did I tell you when he came into? I was working at a place called Toy Box. We were going to do the effects on Driven, and then Rennie Harlan came in. First of all, he's fucking gigantic. He's so tall.
You've met Rennie Harlan.
And then he apparently took him to the screening room, and he was like yelling on his phone at his assistant for like not taking his dog to like the pet groomer or something like that. Like, what did he think of our effects? Oh, he was yelling at his assistant the entire time.
Yeah.
I told you to take the dog to the groomer.
Rennie Harlan was known as a very big party animal during
Oh,
the making
yeah.
of his movies.
Yeah, Driven especially. I remember the effects guy saying like he would party till like 6 or 7 in the morning and then be like on set like an hour later. Like ready to go.
Wow.
Like, wow.
Was he married to Gina Davis?
Yes, he was.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Long Kiss Goodnight.
Well, I cut through
That movie rules.
I haven't even seen that.
Shane
so-
Black.
Oh, right. So,
Yeah. Rennie
he's
Harlan,
great.
good filmmaker.
Yeah, Rennie Harlan, great
Quality
filmmaker.
director.
Yeah, clearly. And I mean, this movie. This is a prolific movie. A lot of what you would see in the later 2000s are in this movie.
Now, I thought this was a Saw ripoff. Incorrect. It was
That's
shot
right.
the same year as Saw.
Really? Because
But it came out after.
It's funny because I read your letterbox and you mentioned Saw on Twitter, and we were watching it last night. And like, God, this is like a proto Saw movie.
Yeah.
Like it's shot a lot of the same like stylistic
Well,
flourishes.
we also just watched the first Saw like the other day.
I know, but
so
you can't-
they're so similar, right? In
Yeah.
look and sped up, speed ramps,
You've got
insane
the-
like zoom ins, go.
Yeah, like the flashes. You've got the multiple wipes, like cool wipes that they do.
which would become a thing in the Saw franchise.
yeah.
Oh, man, it's all about Saw 4 and those crazy wipes.
That's the only other Saw I've seen. Saw 4.
Isn't it wild that, like, in 2004, though, they're still ripping off David Fincher 7? It's like, come on,
yeah.
guys. Are there no new popular movies out?
You know.
Yeah,
Come
but
on.
like, and
Gotta
then
milk
like
that.
in the rest of the 2000s, like this was like the beginning of kind of same Saw, like the kind of torture porn genre.
Mm-hmm.
So this is kind of at the beginning of that. The blue color grade. I mean, like
Yeah.
you look at The Ring for something like that as well, Gore Verbinski. But like it has a look and a feel. And also the content, like again, there's
Yeah.
like there's traps in this.
But it's not obnoxiously like 2000 as much as say, I don't know, like other movies that we've seen.
Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
I was getting a Mick G vibe from some of the edits.
Some of the edits, and it kind of like, you know, gets more amplified as it goes, I guess, to kind of represent people's like psyches and stuff like that.
The thing about this movie is that it's not boring.
No.
It is trying everything it can do to make you pay attention.
Yeah.
And I like that.
It's great.
You know?
Now, I remember this movie was delayed a long time, and supposedly it was reshot like 20 times.
Oh, God.
To the point that Christian Slater, when asked about the movie, went, I don't know how I die, because they shot like multiple different versions of it.
Oh my God.
Spoiler, his death in this movie is my favorite thing.
And also,
We'll get to
it's
it.
so early in the movie. You're
Yeah.
like, what? Like, We're 20 minutes
We're in the
and
Christian Slater renaissance,
Yeah.
right? We expect him to survive the entire time.
I thought it was a Christian Slater movie. I believe he's top billed. Maybe that was like a Drew Barrymore scream. We're going to trick people into thinking Christian Slater's actually in this movie.
I mean, Christian Slater was not doing very well
Not at
in
this time,
2004.
No,
this is 1 year removed from Uwe Boll's Alone in the Dark.
Oh God.
Wait, have we done that on this? No,
No,
that's a
I've
movie.
never actually seen it.
I
That's
don't
real
know
bad.
if I've ever seen a Uwe Boll movie.
Which one should I polish off, though? The theatrical cut or the director's cut on
Oh,
DVD?
God.
Director's cut all the way.
Yeah.
They're
course.
both of them have separate DVD releases with different commentary tracks on them.
Oh, is he just ranting about Hollywood?
Oh, probably. That's all he does, getting angry at like people leaving the commentary.
Go back to running his restaurant. I heard it's good.
We should do House of the Dead. That's a movie that people don't talk about anymore.
Anymore. Well, people have never talked about Mindhunters. I guarantee you, if I find 100 people, no one has heard of this movie.
Yeah, they probably confuse it with the David Fincher
Exactly.
TV show.
It was barely released, number one. I was aware of it because I was very tuned into the arrow in the head, like horror films that were coming out in the early 2000s.
okay, but it was
So I
theatrical, though,
followed it.
right?
It was theatrical, yes. But it's kind of dumped, and then it just went away.
Huh.
Yeah, and so, but the funny thing is that it is, like, it's also about criminal profiling.
Mm-hmm.
So I actually read the book by the guy who, quote unquote, invented criminal profiling.
Right.
I can't remember his
That
name.
Mindhunters was based on.
Yeah, the guy from Mindhunters. And it's called Mindhunter. And
Right.
it's interesting.
Well, people have said, like, criminal profiling is kind of a pseudoscience.
Yeah.
And it's never actually resulted in, like...
Well, no, in that book they nailed tons of criminals,
Yeah.
including
Not-
serial killers.
Not in this movie. They're all a bunch of idiots. Well, some of them anyway.
Things that were invented by police officers
Yeah.
to solve crimes are, let's say, maybe not foolproof. You could say the same thing about forensics. People have been arrested and gone to jail for forensic and things that ended up being
forensic
false.
is a little bit more of a science than criminal profiling.
Yeah.
You got to get into the killer's mind and think the way they
Sure.
It's
Yeah,
like,
like
okay.
that happens in Manhunter as well.
you go.
Or I guess Red Dragon. Because
both.
who's the actor in the Michael Mann version? He's like going basically insane because he's
Oh,
in the killer's
William
mind.
S. Peterson?
Yeah,
Yeah,
William
that's right.
Peterson, the guy from To Live or Die
Is it
in
William
LA.
S. Peterson or just Peterson? I think
know.
William
I don't
Peterson.
know.
Christ.
William Peterson. He has the funniest IMDb photo. It's like him like,
Send it to us. I want to see it. But yeah, so they take the criminal profiling to the extreme where it's like a rock star group of profilers,
Yeah.
but they are technically still trainees.
Yeah,
but
they're not,
these are
they're not
supposed to
official profilers.
They're supposed to be the best of the best, and their teacher is Val Kilmer, but like the head of the team is Christian Slater.
Right.
now
yeah.
it's disappointing. Not enough new metal in this film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of matrixy.
Yeah, there's some kind of like
kinda
montages
techno.
set to like fake Prodigy, like
Yeah. Yeah, they couldn't get Prodigy maybe.
with lots of. I'm just checking out this photo.
Did you say my name?
Definitely had a few glasses of wine. He's got a cherry red
He's walking the
nose.
red carpet. He's got a little haze on him.
It's like somebody is like yelled out, like, "Mr. Peterson, like, would you say no to some barbecue right now?" And like,
I could go for some barbecue.
He kinda looks like,
I could go for some barbecue. Hey, Peterson, you're doing your Homer season 1 impression.
he kind of looks like Tim Heidecker here.
He does.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, everybody look up William Peterson's IMDb picture and then come
Yeah,
back
just
to us.
if you search William Peterson, like the little image in Google that shows up is this photo.
The barbecue hunter himself.
So the movie Mindhunters starts with it almost feels like they're in like the Matrix or the 13th floor or something like that.
Yeah.
Because it's just a car and a young woman is sleeping inside of it. Now, this is the real star of the movie. I don't recognize her from anything.
No,
No, I
Catherine-
don't recognize her from anything.
She's been in a few things. Catherine Morris. I think she kind of ended up on like Cold Case or something. That
Okay.
I kept thinking she was
one of
the
those
lady
like
from Stargate SG-1, a show I didn't even
Like she was
watch.
in like
She kind of looks
400
like her.
episodes of something.
Yeah.
And then she was in Minority Report as Tom Cruise's wife.
Tom Cruise's dead wife, who was probably in that one scene.
No, I don't think she was dead, and it was the daughter that was dead.
Oh, is she alive in that movie?
I think so.
It's been a long time.
Oh yeah, she was in 156 episodes of Cold Case from 2003 to 2010. So
yeah, some people just have that. Like, speaking of William Peterson, like they just they find one of those
CSI
like
graveyard.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's like, go make your money, make your retirement.
So she is definitely like the main character of the movie.
Yeah, for sure.
But we got a team. We got a crack team.
What a
before
team!
Before that, there's a really fun fake out, quote unquote, but you don't know it's a fake out.
This is Christian Slater, the star of the movie, top billed.
Yeah,
he's gonna last.
It starts on her. It's all from her POV, so it's like
she's having
I guess Christian Slater's not starring in this movie.
It's kind of cool though. I like how she's having like a dream or something of like people falling into water and like drowning, and then you almost think like the car is like underwater, like with the particulate kind of floating around, but it turns out to be like snow.
This is a perfect right after Halloween watch though, because it's so snowy and cold.
Yes.
It's just got a vibe to it that's really cool.
You know what other movie starts with an underwater shot?
What's that?
Saw.
Oh, see, I'm thinking like James Wan, huge,
and in this opening scene, there's a body in a bathtub that they turn over.
Yeah, they go to like
Saw.
Which I can only describe as like the like Texas Chainsaw House in the middle of nowhere.
It's so over the top. Also, it's like the house from Spookies, where there's like this like
there's farting demons in the basement.
There's this abandoned children's like birthday party happening. It's like a haunted house basically.
Yeah. There's like rotting. Sorry, go ahead.
I want to highlight the script, which is written by a guy that I thought was going to be the next big thing in Hollywood because he had a little film called Running Scared. Do you guys ever see that?
With Paul Walker. That was great.
That movie is bananas, and that director never made anything like that afterwards, which is a real bummer.
And he directed.
Yeah, he wrote Mindhunters.
Oh,
great script.
I love that movie.
It's a great script. Yep.
Oh yeah.
No one talks about Running Scared anymore either.
Yeah,
that movie is wild.
I don't think I have even heard of it.
Wasn't that also a Billy Crystal movie?
Oh, is there another Running Scared?
It was a buddy cop movie with
the tap dancer. Oh, I thought it was the Gregory Hines.
Gregory Hines, that's right.
Is it really?
That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yep. And so this whole opening sequence, they find these bodies, and they find a killer wearing a pantyhose, and he gets the better of them, shooting Christian Slater and stabbing the other, what's her name again?
Catherine Morris.
What's the name of this character?
But they get into like this insane gunfight. I guess they're trying to save these women because they hear some screaming, which makes them go into the house in the first place. And they're like, yeah, the situation's secured. Let's all go home.
And there's all these dead animals that look very fake, but they are fake.
But are they just like bad movie props? Who knows?
Yeah.
Okay. So this makes us question, like, it's revealed to all be like a test. This is the most complicated,
elaborate
test, because like the gun goes off and you see things exploding on the wall, plates are breaking, and also Christian Slater's being shot.
Yeah, he has like squibs. The tile around him, you see bullet holes in the tile like shattering and stuff like that.
There's flies, which I was like, those are fake flies, and it turns out they are. They hit a tape recorder, the fly sound stops.
Yeah.
LL Cool J later on is like, man, if people knew what their taxpayers' dollars were going towards.
Well, this is the most elaborate test until the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Because then it times that by 100.
We have one more elaborate test for you to do.
They both get killed, fake killed, and then, blah, blah, blah. And they're given a dressing down by their commander or whatever. Val Kilmer eating a birthday cake.
That was that cake that you saw in the earlier.
Is that what it was
from?
Okay.
The prop cake.
He's
not just
Val
walking
Kilmer
in with
in
a
his
cake.
Giant jacket period. Yeah. Where like all the movies, he's wearing like high collared, like long jackets.
Yeah, he is in I believe a jacket the entire movie. I don't know. He's not in.
I think maybe because he was perhaps getting a little bit chunky, so he was trying to hide with a new look.
Well, he's got to stop eating that cake, man.
Maybe it's a little cold. Yeah.
I thought, I missed that birthday cake, and I'm like, where did he get cake, and why is he eating cake?
Yeah.
I thought it was like, one of the crew's birthday or something, and he just like decided to bring it into the...
What if I walk in
it
eating
was like
cake?
Bob's birthday, and they're like, we got your cake, Bob.
Bringing it to set. I want it as a prop.
Yeah. So yeah.
Did you ever hear the story that Christopher Walken used to lie on every movie that it was his birthday so they'd get him a cake?
No, but that's a baller move because who doesn't want cake? So he would just be like, "It's my birthday tomorrow."
It's my birthday. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Christopher, you've said that every single day on this shoot.
I mean, very easily to disprove.
Yeah.
Like, this is like your 17th
But dude, how can they say no to Christopher Walken?
Well, if it was before the internet, you can't just look up people's birthdays.
All those 17 times I was lying. Tomorrow was my real birthday.
It's really just like a power trip. Like,
Yeah.
You get me cake.
it's like Christopher Walken can buy his own birthday cake.
Yeah, he just wants people
it's
to
his
buy
favorite
a cake.
treat.
It's nicer if people give it to you.
I just want it to be about me, Christopher Walken would say.
Well, maybe he wants the whole set, the whole crew to eat cake.
He just wants people to clap for him. And they're all like
yeah,
angry.
that's pretty much it.
Just blow
And
out
sing
the
a
fucking-
song.
Okay,
blow out the
so
candles.
we need to introduce the rest of the crew. There's a short scene where they're like in a classroom and Val Kilmer is just talking about, you got to be prepared because they are always, you got to be 10 steps ahead of them, blah, blah, blah.
It's like
you know?
the situation is not secure until you're on the ride home.
Right. So then we get a scene of the crew in a bar, and this is where you're kind of introduced to everybody. So you have.
So we got Christian Slater,
Yes.
not Paul Rudd.
This guy looks
Clifton
really
so
does
much
look like
like Paul
Paul
Rudd. It's crazy.
lady,
Clifton Collins Jr.
Yeah, Clifton Collins Jr., who we all know.
He's in a wheelchair.
He's in a wheelchair. What do I know him from? Rules of
Oh,
Attraction.
tons of stuff.
Yeah.
He's in
And other
a
things.
million things. Have you watched? Is he in Prison Break? He was in Prison Break,
I
right?
don't know. He was in Star Trek, the J.J. Abrams one, as one of the Romulans.
I did
mean-
not know that, but I
there you
mean,
go.
I haven't seen 2009, probably since 2009.
We got Johnny Lee Miller.
Hellbreakers?
Johnny
Oh,
Lee
yeah.
Miller, Lady from the Mummy.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Johnny Lee Miller.
Now, holy cow, his accent
It's really bad. It's really bad.
is so bad that I kept thinking and like
That he was going to become like
Yes.
British at the end of the movie?
yes.
Yes.
And it was a big reveal that I was only putting it on, love. But
they can't because there's another British guy.
there's another British guy in the
stupid.
in the crew.
Did they like flip coins? What if the other British guy played by Will Kemp was like, yeah, this is my real accent. Like, why did you guys switch? Wait,
British.
I'm reading it here. Oh, no, yeah. He's from an English family, damn it.
Well, okay, so here's the funny thing. I was looking at some early casting, and Val Kilmer's role was originally supposed to be played by Gerard Butler.
Wouldn't that be great?
Because he was in the Dimension family. Yeah.
I guess, but then
I think
that
Val
would-
Kilmer is more interesting because
Oh,
you
for
think
sure.
that Val's going to have a bigger role.
Yeah, for sure. And then, if Gerard Butler was in it, you just want him in
But
the
did-
whole
But if
movie.
Johnny Lee Miller left the movie and Gerard Butler took his place,
That would
yes,
be
please.
brilliant, especially if he could play a duplicitous person.
with like a,
But
with
I want to keep the accent.
oh, I'd love to see him try to wrap his fucking Scottish mouth around that accent. It's like, oh, from Texas.
Just let him be British.
It's like he's having a stroke. He can't get through it.
The thing is, it makes Johnny Lee Miller seem 10 times creepier than he already is. And like, if you're going to give away that he's the villain, sorry folks, he's the villain.
Oh, no.
Don't make him be creepy. Have him at least be charming. He's a fucking creeper this whole movie, and he's
Yeah.
talking like a weirdo.
Well, it's a weird thing because I think LL Cool J, who's introduced right after this, points out that it's weird that a British person is going to be in the FBI. I don't think you're allowed to have like non-Americans in like the Federal Bureau
that's
of
what he was
Investigation.
saying against British guy.
Yeah, he's like, oh, it's weird to have like an accent. He's like, oh,
Well, then maybe Johnny Lee Miller was like, oh, I can do a Texas accent.
And you think Rennie Harley, yes, you could do a Texas
it sounds like a perfect Texas accent to me.
Can we just say LL Cool J, MVP of this movie?
Oh,
Absolutely.
big time,
He seems to be
yeah.
having the most fun.
He's
He's
great.
got all the best one-liners. He's smooth as butter.
He seems like a meta character stuck in this movie, being
Yes.
like, "What's going on here, guys?
Yeah.
What are we doing?"
Well, as I said earlier, this almost feels like a spoof movie of thrillers because there's a lot of, it's almost like self-aware in
'Cause it's
these
so over the top?
ridiculous things that happen and ridiculous lines. Like there's so many fun set pieces and scenes in this that go so over the top. I guess, sorry to keep saying it, but in a Saw-like way.
Yeah,
Well,
it's just like it's like statement killings, not
Yes.
just like
Well, like-
simple like
Like
offings.
Jigsaw's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna kill you in an ironic way.
For their final test, they go to an island that just has a fake city set up just for tests, I guess.
Well, okay, this is the funny thing. So, yeah, they get in the helicopter. LL Cool J is there, and he's like an observer from the Department of Justice, there to like oversee the training or whatever. But this island, first of all, its introduction is it's a horrible matte painting.
Yes.
It's like matte
it
painting
is. It's
island.
bad.
But I looked up this location, and I'm like, this is a really cool location. Like that main building looks really awesome. It's almost like I don't know, some like Art Deco, like LA City Hall or something like that. It's very strange. It is a real training island in
For police officers.
in like the Netherlands or something like that.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Because they had a Dutch tax grant that they shot there.
Okay, yeah, that explains it. But
But I don't think it would be abandoned like this just so people can go and do this stuff.
I'm sure people are there running something there.
yeah, it's like police training.
Mannequin Town.
Police training island.
It's a town full of
Mannequin Town.
It is a town full of mannequins. It's like I Am Legend, where Will Smith sets up all the mannequins.
It's just
Or,
And
like a police
keep your
training
eyes
exercise.
peeled when they get in there because there's hints of like deaths that are going to come, like a can of liquid nitrogen. It's like, I hope that doesn't play into it anyway.
Yeah, so Val Kilmer says that it's like the Navy's island. They allow Val Kilmer to use it for one weekend every year for his like profile or training, I guess, for the FBI or something. Whatever. So everyone is gone. Like it's completely abandoned.
And let's drop off these, 7 people.
Yeah.
I'll be watching. Or will I? He
It's-
says he's leaving, actually.
Yeah, you see the helicopter flying away, and you're like, okay, whatever. And then, you see all these tanks of liquid nitrogen, and then somebody says, "What are those? Or what are those for?" And he's like, "Oh, that's for simulating like Arctic environments or something."
Boy, I
Like,
hope that doesn't come back
Okay,
later.
whatever.
It's already snowing outside. Why do you need to simulate Arctic
Yeah,
environments?
I will say I felt bad for the actors. It must have been freezing, and they're outside a lot too. Like it looks cold,
It looks kind of cold and damp.
or maybe it's just a good color grade. But
Maybe it's
like it's snowing later in the movie, like you said,
It's snowing almost every time they go outside at night.
Yeah.
Like they got those. I mean, it's definitely fake snow, but you can see their breath as well.
Yeah.
There's multiple scenes where people are underwater.
It's actually snowing out of Christian Slater's mouth at one point.
It's true. Yeah.
And so we get all the team members are having a party. They're cutting up food, and then we get something for mommy because Christian Slater's in the shower.
Oh,
Yeah.
those
And
buns.
we get some Christian Slater ass.
We got some hot buns in the oven.
Yeah,
here.
and then we get like the beginning of a sex scene with lady from The Mummy. I'm sorry, I don't know her name.
Oh, is it Lady from the Mummy? I didn't even know it was her.
It
yeah,
is,
she's from
yeah.
the Mummy, and
Oh.
The female mummy.
she was one of the Martas in Arrested Development.
Oh, yes.
But it's nice to see them like actually like some nudity, but like actually kiss, and then they're naked in the shower. Something you would never see in a movie these days.
It doesn't lead to anything. We thought for sure that like it was Christian Slater's like body double because
It wasn't.
he's like ripped and he's got buns of steel.
The buns, yeah.
And then his head turns around like, oh my god, it's really him.
Yeah.
Wait, so is there like a long shot? I'm looking at the movie right now where it like pushes in on him.
Yeah, and then
and then
he
you actually
turns
see.
around.
You see his face, so you're like, oh, it's
That was the most expensive shot of the movie, popping in that ass.
Did ILM did a head replacement?
But you're right. The only it's just supposed to establish that these two are fucking or they're seeing each other, but it doesn't really
It doesn't lead to
make
anything.
any difference.
But
later.
in the previous scene, LL Cool J is there, and he's like
He's profiling
He
them.
profiles all of them, and he says to the mummy lady like, "You're having a relationship with somebody on the team," and blah blah
Yeah.
blah, and like he's profiling
he
them
gets
all.
everyone's number, but he's like, but that's just surface level. He just makes a meal out of every line.
It's great.
and I love him. It's why he's such a great rapper, right?
What happened to LL Cool J as an actor?
Well, he
'Cause,
did
like, he
some
had the-
rom-coms.
Okay.
I
remember
mean,
he
But like
was
he
in-
never had that. Like he had Deep Blue Sea, another Rennie Harlan joint.
Toys.
Maybe just Rennie Harlan liked him, which is why he got to be in those
Toys.
movies.
Yeah, why wouldn't
he
you,
was
man?
in SWAT.
I'd bring him back for everything.
He was in a movie with
Right.
Queen Latifah.
Rollerball.
Oh yeah.
Rollerball. I still haven't seen that.
Ugh, that looks terrible. Is that the one with Rebecca Romaine?
Yeah, that's what's his name? Mr. American Pie.
Yeah,
the guy that doesn't fuck the pie.
Chris
Chris Klein.
Klein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guy who doesn't fuck.
Val Kilmer has established before he flies away on the helicopter, he says like, okay, you're going to have to profile this serial killer called the Puppeteer.
The Puppeteer.
Who lives on this island. He's killed a couple of people on this street, and tomorrow morning you guys are going to have to walk around collecting clues, and you're going to have to profile him.
It's like an escape room, but it's an escape island.
Yeah.
Wait. I found why LL Cool J hasn't acted in any movies.
Why?
He's been trapped on NCIS Los Angeles for 323 episodes. So he's still on it to this day.
Good for him.
I get it. Like these people, these actors, they just want a steady job. He probably wants to raise his family, and be around.
Him and Chris O'Donnell. They're like the two stars of NCIS Los Angeles.
Like, Ice-T is on one of those shows.
Yep. I think he's on, is it SVU? One of those.
Yeah, maybe.
SVU.
How many, that's like the gold mine for an actor. It's like you get cast in one of those shows, there's going to be 40 seasons.
Yeah, you'll never
ask want for anything again.
Yeah. I mean, David Caruso did it.
There you go.
Yeah, well, a bad man.
What did he do now?
David Caruso?
Yeah. He's bad?
Yeah, he's supposedly just a huge asshole.
Oh, okay.
They're like, everybody hated working with him.
Oh, that explains why his movie career took off.
Yeah. Hey, he's good in Session 9.
And Jade.
Jade.
He wasn't very good in Jade.
It's kind of established that, Johnny Lee Miller and the main character woman,
Sarah.
They kind of bond outside. She's scared of water. Her sister was murdered. I'm starting to talk like Johnny Lee Miller now. I don't know why. They're kind of bond.
Her sister was murdered.
Her sister was murdered and drowned. So she has a phobia of water. His parents were killed when he was very young.
I wonder how.
But
But the thing is, I never really got the feeling that she really had any kind of softness for him. They're just friends, and he is clearly in love with her, and it's a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's very weird. Hey, we should hang out, and we shouldn't be alone tonight, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it's
yeah, whatever.
It's creepy.
You know what else is uncomfortable? When they wake up the next morning, there's a dead cat in the bathroom.
Oh, God.
Which is a very, very fake-looking dead cat.
Meow!
Yeah.
Does it make that sound? Because there's some really bad cat sound effects in this movie.
The cat sound effects are there's the three of them they keep using over and over,
Yeah, well, because the thing established, this is kind of Cat Island. There's a whole bunch of stray cats just living there.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty cool. But yeah, somebody killed and strung up this cat and put a broken watch in its mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's not nice.
Yeah, and it's
and it leads us to a toy store on the island. Oh, we're all sounding like Johnny Lee Miller.
You just fast forward to the end of the episode. Okay, what was your favorite part?
On the island. So
we all sound like it.
you go to a toy store.
He's infected us. There's a
We've been mind hunted.
Yeah, I'm just getting so into Johnny Lee Miller's brain that I'm becoming part of him.
Yeah, we're becoming Johnny Lee Miller.
Oh my God. So they go to this toy store, and there's this woman's corpse strung up like a kind of marionette puppet hanging from the ceiling, and they're kind of
Fake
collecting.
Corpse.
Yeah, it's a very good looking corpse, for a
but
fake
when
training
the
exercise.
cat dies, they're like, what the fuck? Who would do? So in the reality of the movie, it's a real cat. But
the cat is real, yeah. But the lady is fake.
Not, yeah.
They're not
yes.
They're not thinking there's a real dead lady.
Yeah, so it's very weird. So the broken clock is set at 10 o'clock or something like that. And then there's some jukebox or something. It's like a little toy store, and it's got a little toy kind of like radio. It starts playing this goofy song. Christian Slater goes to turn it off, and this is my favorite part of the movie. It's this Rube Goldberg.
I wish they were all Rube Goldberg machines, though. That would have ruled.
This thing goes on for so long.
Dominoes and then balls.
Yeah, they were watching this domino line go on and on and on. And then it knocks over some ball. And then it says helium on it. It's a tank of helium, tips over.
Oh, it would have been so funny if Christian Slater was
yeah.
What are you looking at, guys?
Well, because we missed the previous liquid nitrogen line, so I was like, does helium just get cold? Of course.
Yeah, so I watched it. It tips over, and the top blows off and starts spraying liquid nitrogen at Christian Slater, and on the back it says liquid nitrogen.
So it's spraying his legs.
Actually, liquid nitrogen. You got to read the back.
Yeah.
It's such a great scene because he's like, help me. I can't move. My legs are frozen. And they're not helping him. Like the one girl.
Well, they probably don't want to get too
Yeah,
close
'cause he
to
says-
him.
Why did they just pull him?
He says
away.
like, "Oh, you'll get burned like by the liquid nitrogen or
I'm
whatever."
pretty sure he said, help me. And they just let him die.
Well, you know.
I think someone yells, "They're frozen!"
I think that's him.
so. Yeah, it's plastic like right on his legs, and it freezes them, and then
His flesh comes off and you see his bone.
No, yeah,
leg
his
bones.
legs break
He
away, which
tips
causes
over.
him to fall backwards, and then he breaks like a porcelain
he
doll.
breaks in half,
Instantly.
and they have like a breaking pottery sound.
It's the curl and Escar sound
like if
for
you
the
dropped,
people
like-
who know what that is.
It's the exact Curlin Escar sound.
And then there's an effect shot of Christian Slater's face where he goes,
Yeah.
snow comes out of his mouth.
and then his eyeball frosts over and goes.
It's so bad, but it's so good. It is one of the best cinematic deaths I've seen, maybe since that exploding clown on your Twitter, Colin.
Oh, from Livewire. Yeah, it's so good. And this one thing this movie doesn't skimp on is like the gnarly kills.
Yeah.
There's like so many good kills.
Fun gore effects.
And again, I can picture a worse version of this movie that was like PG-13 or something, and it was just like, no,
yeah.
Yeah, could have very easily been
just
PG-13.
lame.
You
It's
can't.
like, no, we'll get like 6 more people to see it that way. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you
Well,
won't.
no one's seen it anyway, unfortunately.
Yeah,
So now they're like, oh shit, like
there's a killer
our
on the
leader's
island.
dead. We gotta start profiling each other because they all suspect each other. Then there's a lot of
Well, they try to
maybe
get
it's
away
you.
at
Yeah,
first.
Johnny Lee Miller's
yeah.
like, come on, everybody, there's a boat on the pier.
Yeah.
He's like, simulation is
I'm
over.
gonna walk first so no one will suspect me.
Yeah, he's like, there's no time for fear, everybody.
just-
And he's running along the pier.
We're not even really exaggerating it. That's what's funny.
Oh, it's worse than that. Yeah, and then he triggers like a bomb. This effect shot of them all flying back from the explosion.
Yeah, there's like a shot of like them like jumping away, like whoa.
jumping away on green screen. Yeah, trust me, everybody. When we take it to ILM, it'll look
It'll
amazing.
look good.
Look amazing.
ILM.
ILM is going to charge what? Okay, forget that. We're going to take it to the.
Colin,
Colin
you can do
Cunningham.
this.
We're going to take it to the Mexican division of ILM.
And then you just do one pass on it, and you're like, "What do you think, Rennie? What else would you like? Oh, it's good. It's good. Let's keep going.
Here's a rough slap.
I got a
pump.
party to get to."
He's a busy man. Yeah.
I got to be on set in 20 minutes.
And then they all like, "We got to prepare. Any of us could be the killer. Let's just all drink some of this coffee to stay awake, so nothing happens."
Well, first of all, if I may interject, Justin, Clifton Collins is like sitting watching them all get blown away on the pier, and he's all angry. And it's been said that they haven't been able to take their guns to this training course.
Oh, that's right. But Clifton Collin brought his gun.
He's all pissed off. He's like, "Oh, I need my gun."
That's
this
his
guy,
thing.
he is obsessed with guns in this movie. He needs his gun.
Well, as you said, he got shot with a gun.
I hope his gun won't be his undoing in some way.
I hope that the
His
things
weakness,
that
if you will.
people like aren't their weaknesses.
So yeah, he goes. They're like, "What the hell? You brought your gun?" He's like, "Yeah, well, you'll be happy that I did." And then it just cuts to them. It's like a montage of them shooting a lock open on like the armory, and just
they're all,
everybody has guns. Just like thousands of bullets.
And then they drink coffee and they all pass out, which is a fun sequence. We're like, oh.
I think at one
They're, like,
point they're
slowly
like
passing
they're
out.
like arguing amongst one another, and then
Mexican standoff.
yeah, but they all just like unlatch their guns.
Oh yeah, because they think it's Ice Cube, and then Ice Cube's like, "What? And they just passes
I
out.
think you mean LL Cool J.
Sorry, LL Cool J. Yes,
Fucking racist.
Oh. But yeah.
they're all rappers, Colin.
There's like how many
Rapper
how many
actors.
Mexican standoffs are in this movie?
There are a lot.
So many.
There is one shot here. So Johnny Lee Miller was injured in the boat explosion.
Yes.
And then the main
to
character's
bring
like
this up.
stitching his shoulder up. his chest hair is like coming up and over his t-shirt.
And it's long. And what's funny is he's balding, but his
Well,
chest hair.
his hero was Robin Williams. Well, I hate to break it to you, April. When people start going bald, hair is everywhere else. Ears, nose,
But
chest.
it
kind of
ears.
migrates.
It is coming up. It's like it looks like Chewbacca or something.
Chewbacca as-
Like and it's wet, so it's like
and it's like
all
up into his neck. It's so off-putting.
it's like tendrils of hair coming. It's
Yeah.
you have to watch. Oh god, it's so.
It's like
yeah.
straight, long hair. It's
wet and slick. Ugh.
yeah. So they all pass out from the coffee.
Okay, so I just have to ask. So everyone's weakness kind of gets exploited in this movie. They wake up, and the other British dude we haven't really talked about, they're like, "Hey, wake up!" And his head pops off, and it's like, what was his weakness?
No, later they say he was a coffee junkie. What? He didn't die from the
so
coffee.
maybe-
He died from
Yeah,
his
he
head
got
getting.
his head being cut off.
Yeah, they like jostle him, and his head rolls into Clifton Collins' like lap. But then
Yeah.
they
Do you think that Johnny Lee Miller was like, fuck, I really can't get a ironic punishment?
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Yeah, he could have just poisoned his coffee or done something.
It
but
didn't have anything to do with like knowing what he would do and then killing him that way, like
No.
the rest of them. It was
'Cause
just his head.
Yeah, they were all drugged.
Yeah.
So I don't get
Yeah.
it. And then they say that all of his blood was drained. So it's like, okay.
I guess he had
to
a lot
make
of,
the coffee?
he had a lot of time to drain his blood while everyone.
And then they've like somebody's written numbers. There's like a numerical code.
Do you think Johnny Lee Miller was doing it? He's like, oh boy, I hope they don't wake up. And he's like slowly draining
it's
their
like,
blood.
God, this is going to take forever.
Yeah, I mean, the thing about like this movie is that there's so many ridiculous things that like you
Like,
can't.
yeah,
you
to
can't
pull this
think
off,
about it.
it's-
You can't think about it too much. 'cause
it's just
And
absurd.
it like the movie like is not trying to explain. I think it knows it's dumb.
Well, LL Cool J has a wicked line here. He's like, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Who's the next motherfucker to go?
He should be a rapper.
Oh
Oh,
my
wait,
God.
he is.
He is. Oh my God.
Okay, moving on.
So then they think everybody's getting like skittish and everybody starts becoming like untangled like throughout the rest of the movie. Clifton Collins especially is like unhinged.
Yes.
They
really don't trust LL Cool J.
no, because he's kind of I think Johnny Lee Miller comes in and he's like, oh, I found all these maps of the island and everything in LL Cool J's like bed or something. And he's like, I can explain. And they tie him up. They like chain him to a wall down in the basement or
This
something
scene
like that.
is pretty great. The the water thing breaks.
Yeah, so
Well, what's great about this sequence is that like you think something is going to happen or this is going to happen and it keeps like swerving in different directions.
yeah. So like what is it? The water main bursts and Clifton Collins goes over to check on it and then like I don't know, all these fluorescent lights start falling from the ceiling and are
Which electrifies the water.
the water.
Almost like a Final Destination-esque scene.
Yes.
Well, he had handcuffed LL Cool J, so he's like, let me out so I can help you. Like,
Throw me your gun.
Throw me your gun,
Clifton
yeah.
Collins like climbs up and he's hanging from the ceiling. He can't keep hanging forever as the water is like rising. And so he like throws LL Cool J's gun.
and LL Cool J's like, I know where the breaker is because it was revealed he had maps of the island, like you
Right.
said. So
So he shoots the handcuffs off, but then he like starts. You're like, why is he doing this? He starts like shooting holes in the wall, kind of like next to Clifton Collins Jr.
yeah, you're like, huh?
And the wall is like shaking. It is like the flimsiest like cardboard, and you're like, like what? He's like shooting handholds in the wall. It's like, is he gonna climb
So
this like a
good.
rock wall?
He is, and then he sticks his feet in and makes the holes bigger, and he's climbing the walls because the water. It's like the floor is lava. Like
Yeah.
And then he gets to the breaker and he's like, lights out. And then he flips the switch.
Flips the switch
So
just
many
as
good
Clifton
lines.
Collins lands in the water, and he's like safe. First of all, yeah, he throws the gun down, and then he rips his shirt off, and he's like, I got these two guns.
He's got big guns.
And he's like
his
hanging
arms
from the
are
ceiling.
magnificent. But so then Clifton Collins is like, guys, he tried to save my life, so I think we can trust him. And then everyone's like, okay.
Yeah, and then Paul Rudd is like, yo, we gotta shut off the water.
Turn the water
here.
off. Actually, Johnny Lee Miller is like, someone should turn the water off.
Well, I'll do it because I'm a guy who does machines, which is revealed just in this moment. Maybe it was explained earlier. I don't remember.
Yeah, for like a brief moment, they like, they're suspicious of him, and then was it like harpoons or something shoot out at him? And
Yeah,
Is that what
and
that
just
was?
kill
Yeah,
him.
and it's like
Yeah.
gets him. Oh yeah, it's like a bunch of miniature harpoons.
yeah, get him right through the throat.
Yeah. So no more Paul Rudd.
And they actually accused Johnny Lee Miller there, being like, "You're the one who said to change the water, you asshole." He's like, "Oh, but it's not me though. I swear."
Well,
Yeah.
come on with my friendly, good-natured, down-home American accent.
And that's the only suspicious thing I've done all movie. And then, I mean, it pretty much is the only time anyone really ever suspects him.
yeah, and
Yeah, and then they like try to figure it out by looking at the bodies, and there's a montage, and they accuse each other, pull the guns on each other again.
yeah, they have this like full lab, like a full kind of like, I don't know, DNA blood lab or something there on the island, and they run this like. They're taking like swabs of the blood from, I don't know, DNA from all the corpses and bodies.
They did find that there's numbers on their backs from after they passed out. There's a lot going on here.
Which I don't know. I don't
It's just
know.
like thing on top of thing on top of thing, which kind of reminds me of an escape room. It's like, well, is this a clue? Is everything
Yeah.
a clue? Everything can't be a clue, can it? And it's just like, how elaborate is this stupid serial
I'm not
killer?
sure the clues like they kind of lead to the next thing, but I don't know if they like tie together in any sort of way.
No.
But yeah, they have like the DNA test montage, and it's set to the like fake prodigy.
Yeah.
And then we've got I don't know, everyone just starts like unraveling and like pulling guns on one another again. The Mexican lady like runs off. She's like, "I'm out of here." Hold on a sec. Sailor, come on. What do you want?
Morale!
Yeah, so Lady from the Mummy, it's been previously established that she smokes. Whoa.
So that's her weakness. So she's like leaving the island or wants to get away. And then like
Well, isn't it around this time that they tie Sarah to a chair and they're like,
Yes.
"You did it," and then she's
Well,
like,
because they find her blood
Yeah.
under
Oh,
the
the
fingernails of
computer-
one of the
the
victims.
computer says Sarah. And then they all pull their guns on
Sarah.
her. So the Mexican lady's
And the lady takes a cigarette, and it's an acid cigarette.
Yeah.
Now
which-
this is, I don't think this is possible because it's like burnt.
she like inhales this. Well, first of all, she's about to leave, and then the cigarette machine just like spits out this like pack of smoke. So you're like, okay.
Just as she's leaving, almost as if it knew.
And then she takes us a haul, and then like I don't know, her whole face like starts melting.
Okay, so it drops a drip onto her shoe,
that starts melting.
and it starts melting through, and then like it's like, but it's smoking. Like,
Yeah, but she
is that
inhaled
supposed
it.
to be steam?
No, it's like acid. It melts. It burns.
So
So she inhales it into her lungs, and you can actually see her lung like shapes like
Oh,
burning
really?
through. Yeah, you can see bloody lung shapes like burning through her
my
chest.
God, it all just happens so fast, which is funny.
Then they run in like
They run out.
they run out, but then they run back in, and they're like, she smoked a cigarette laced with some kind of acid.
That's right.
Yeah, and then Val Kilmer, like they hear him over the PA system, so you're like, oh my God, it's
Val Kilmer all this time.
All this time. And then, of course, they all turn on him like, yeah, did anybody see him leaving the island? Yeah, that's right.
I didn't actually see
Let's go get
it.
him.
Yeah.
Let's go get him.
So they do.
And then they get him, and oh my God, he's a puppet.
Yeah, no, this is another thing that comes back to Saw, because I swear they did this in Spiral.
They did.
They did. Samuel
Sam
Jackson was
Jackson,
puppeted.
yeah.
Right, okay.
So stealing from this movie again.
So you have the Val Kilmer puppet, and yeah, he's clearly like, I'm fucking out of this movie again.
I can only imagine Johnny Lee Miller slowly putting the hundreds of hooks that are in Val Kilmer puppet.
No one person could do
Like
this.
wiring it up to a set of like cogs and like
But this was
gears.
And then he turns it on and it doesn't work, and he's like,
Oh,
fuck,
man.
all right, gotta go back. Is there a wire cross?
This is a Val
Why is it not
Kilmer
working?
Dummy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is
Really-
like
Val Kilmer did not allow himself to be put in Cenobite makeup.
no, yeah. This is
It is Cenobite-esque.
this is like Christopher Plummer. Val Kilmer shows up to every movie shoot with his own prop dummy for his body.
Right. But yeah, it's like Val Kilmer character. It was so obvious that it was like a recording. Like, I mean, they think it's really him, I guess.
And I love that the recording is one of those things that like fits perfectly. Like it sounds threatening,
Yeah.
but he's just reacting to somebody in front of
Yeah.
him
Yeah, it's just
He's
like
you
generic.
think you're smart, don't you?
on a video. Just do it. Ah!
It's very.
And then he gets killed.
Again, it is very similar to Jigsaw.
Yeah.
This has some great stuff right after this where they're like, well, it's not Val Kilmer. then it's one of us. And they all turn their guns against
They
each other.
start running into this town, which has like mannequins and all this sort of stuff.
And they all turn into monster people with a roar when they run by the camera.
It is so like quickly cut. They are just running out in the town like maniacs, just shooting in every direction. Like,
And she literally
the camera's like, swoosh,
yeah, and
swoosh, swoosh.
Sarah hides under a bus and she goes, "Stop shooting!"
yeah, Johnny
Stop
Lee Miller.
shooting."
He's like yelling at her, "Sarah, get down!" It's like, you're the one shooting, you asshole.
Well, he doesn't want her.
They're
to
just
know
like,
it.
oh.
Yeah, well, if police training exercise, they teach you just shoot everywhere in all directions, and
Yes.
you'll eventually hit.
And
dummy.
Johnny Lee Miller is riddled with bullets. And then this starts a whole period of the movie where LL Cool J is so evil in every scene.
Yeah.
Where he's like standing over Johnny Lee Miller's body. And he's like, that's the price you pay for being fearless.
Yeah, so it's a misdirect, but I thought that at this point he thought that Sarah was the killer. Like he actually legitimately thought he hadn't figured it out.
I think
yet.
in the movie's reality, that's the case. But
Yeah.
for the audience,
We're
there is
supposed-
no reason for him to be acting like this.
No,
It's kind of like, hey, Bart, you want
Yes.
to on documents?
yeah, exactly. He's acting cartoonishly evil.
Yeah, he's so evil, and he's like,
like,
Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah.
If he thinks that she's the killer, then I guess he's trying to like dominate her. But again, like I'm not trying to be sexist, but could a tiny woman like her set all this up? I guess she's not that much smaller than Johnny Lee Miller. So like again, like
What are you talking about with my little muscles?
Yeah,
I can do all
I grew
that.
up on a ranch. I know how to lasso. So they just shoot in all directions. Yeah, Johnny Miller's dead. And then so while this is happening, I guess Clifton Collins Jr. is so obsessed with his gun that has no bullets.
He needs it back.
He needs
Yeah.
bullets.
he
So
goes into the morgue.
he crawls
Where
all the way
else?
to the morgue freezer and then gets bullets. I think from the British guys, like headless corpse.
Oh, yeah. I think he was wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, he crawls back to like an elevator and he's so happy he's got his bullets and he's like, yeah. And then the elevator opens and he's
And
gonna
like someone is there. We don't see who. He
Yeah.
was like, I knew it was you. Bang. Uh-oh.
reverse
It
bullets.
shoot back at him.
Yeah.
The gun exploded.
Yeah, so like he blows his face off or
Gun
something.
shoot you.
Yeah, what a twist.
And then we get to a sequence that this is Rennie Harlan the Entertainer, because LL Cool J, he like Sarah gets the gun on him and he's like, you're not gonna shoot, you're too scared, etc., etc. And then Johnny Lee Miller shows up and they have a very long fist fight.
It's crazy.
It's
though.
like a kung fu fight.
It's like a
It's a martial
yeah.
arts
It's like a
fight,
mini
basically.
Jackie Chan like fight. Is as best that they can do it. You know what I mean? But wow.
Yeah, because they're like punching, throwing, jumping on tables, kicking tables. They land in the kitchen. They're using kitchen implements, throwing it at
Yeah,
each
they,
other.
like,
They go upstairs.
Yeah.
There's just so many, again, big like kind of like scenes and set pieces at the very end of this movie. Like we're not even done.
Yeah,
Like, there's still more.
The camera's like swooshing around.
I don't think you picked a favorite thing yet, April.
I'm saving it.
If there is a
Okay.
really great shot.
I hope it's not my thing.
There's a really great shot of the woman looking at the clock, at one of the clocks, but then the camera is
I
like
missed this.
the camera is behind the hands, so like the hand is
I
the hands
love
are
it.
moving in front of the camera. It's fantastic.
That's like a Sam Raimi and Evil Dead 2
Yeah,
shot.
it's great.
Of
It's
like,
like really
stylish.
You could easily just see this directed in the most boring manner or whatever, but he's really going.
yeah,
for
like a David Fincher fit, like a bad David Fincher
Yeah,
impersonation.
exactly. But he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna make this like entertaining. Camera is like going through like remember they have like the map of the island on the glass and the camera goes through the glass.
The
and
camera
everything.
goes through the glass,
It's like-
which is subtle enough that you almost don't even notice
He's trying.
it.
He's
at
doing
first.
stylish things. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to. but
That's
he-
what I mean about this movie.
I
Is not
appreciate it.
boring. Like it's so entertaining.
Well, I know what the favorite thing is going to be because so she clobbers LL Cool J with like a fire extinguisher. Finds out that Johnny Lee Miller was actually the
Oh my god, the big
killer.
reveal because she's like, I actually set the clocks back and blah blah blah.
Put like
She
glow in the
she
dark
tricks-
powder on the clock or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, so the killer will have glow in the dark powder on their hands.
When they set the hands
And
back
he's-
on the clock.
He's like, uh-oh, whatever.
And then he, again, I really wish he just revealed a completely different accent. Don't
Yeah.
even be British. Be just a different accent.
I
Wouldn't
was
that be
waiting
fun?
for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
come on.
No,
It's
his
like-
big thing is I killed my parents. And I had to get that high again. So I kept killing people. And then I joined the FBI. She literally said, she was like, you joined the FBI so you could murder people or something? And he's like, yeah.
And just so I could profile you and like, you need to.
It's about the hunt.
Get the high again and again.
Which I could take seriously if he didn't have such a ridiculously bad accent.
This next scene, okay, I know it's going to be somebody's favorite thing.
Well, not the whole scene, but yeah.
I'm wondering if they put this in because Val Kilmer was in the movie. It was a tip of the hat to top secret.
Maybe.
Oh, yeah. Well, it is definitely my favorite thing. And I every time I think of Mindhunters, I think of basically the climax of the scene where, like, so she gets knocked down the stairs, there's a chase, and they land in water. And they have like an underwater gunfight.
It's insane.
But like the bullets don't go far
They
enough.
go like
And
5
they just-
feet.
But they keep shooting at one another.
And you actually see them
And
fall.
I always remembered this from the movie, which is they end up pointing the guns out of the water
At each other.
and
yeah,
waiting for someone to come up so they can shoot each other.
the very funny thing happens before that, which is she mouths, "Fuck you," underwater, which is really funny.
And they're like avoiding the bullets, like
I know.
like in like the Matrix, but like in slow-mo water. Yeah, so they're pointing the guns at where their heads will come up for air, outside of the water. They're
Talk
just
about
having.
a Mexican.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing. I love that. I love that visual.
Underwater Mexican stand-up.
It is so ridiculous, but it's so funny. It's like, oh my god.
So Johnny Lee Miller, of course, can't hold his breath because it's been revealed that she has drowning experience or something.
She's drowning
yeah.
experience. I think her sister was murdered. and
Yeah, so
drowned.
she shoots him, but he's still not dead yet. She's like, drop it. And then he's like, well, I planted your blood on everything and, you're fucked. And then, whoa, LL Cool J is back. But then, like, he doesn't even, like, do anything.
No,
like,
he throws a watch at him.
Oh, right. He throws, and he
That's
says,
stopped at a certain time.
time's up.
Yeah.
He has all the best one-liners, including the best one-liner of the movie. And I guess you could say this is my favorite thing. So Sarah
Yeah, because she shoots him, Johnny Lee Miller in the head.
I guess we found his greatest weakness. Bullets.
That's so
Such
good.
a good line. Like it belongs in a spoof movie, but I don't care. It's so fucking funny.
There's so much in this movie that belongs in a spoof movie, but
Yeah.
whatever. It's all good. So yeah, there you go. Wrap it up.
Then they just go home on a helicopter
Get a
and
helicopter.
it's over.
Yeah.
What a ride.
Well, they clearly shot it so Johnny Lee Miller could come back because, like, he doesn't get killed in a definitive way.
No, there's
you don't
blood,
even see where
there's blood like drips down from the top of his head.
down his head,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean like he was shot. Like, you don't see like a wound in
guess
his head
so,
or anything
yeah.
like
Yeah,
that.
kind of like-
But like, are people gonna want John? Is he gonna be the Jigsaw of the Mindhunter
Yeah.
franchise?
Absolutely not.
Which we should have gotten. We should have gotten a John Mindhunters franchise.
Not with that accent.
No. He comes back and he has a normal.
No,
voice.
he just speaks through
He's
like
British.
a voice thing or something. Oh man, what you doing
I mean, not everyone can have as a good and threatening voice as Tobin Bell.
So
you know?
what do you think would be the sequel to this? Do you think it would be LL Cool J and the main woman, Catherine Morris,
Well,
coming back?
Yeah, she would definitely get killed probably
She'd
in the
get
second
recast.
And you think it would just be like LL Cool J with a different lady?
one. Yeah, LL Cool J kind of comes in and out. He's the Vin Diesel of the series.
Yeah, but like, you know how all these movies have to like top each other?
Yeah.
Like, what would it be like? Like, there's another island. I don't want it to turn into the escape room movies.
It has to be. That's what every one of these has to be. Is that they're in some location,
Yeah, like an
there's a
isolated
bunch of traps,
location, whatever.
and they don't know who the killer is. So it's like a murder mystery
but
every
they're all
time.
cops. They have to secretly out-profile each other.
Yeah, here's an abandoned.
Yeah, maybe they're not. Yeah, maybe they're not cops. Maybe in the next one
They're
they're
all
it's a
firefighters.
ventriloquist dummies association. So they're all doing voices.
They're all like, oh, who said that? Like, they can't
Oh
tell.
yeah. It's like a clown. So it's like a ventriloquist dummy, a clown, a master of impressions. Like Rich Little plays himself,
and like a Tumblr.
A voice actor.
and a
A
tumbler.
vaudevillian Tumblr. Hey.
Yeah, and then the next one is at a comic book convention, so you get like washed up stars from like a murder TV series as well. So they've all done this before. And LL Cool J is the one like
He would be-
forced through.
He
all
would be
of
the
them.
guy like on TV that would be at like the signing of his like new book or something.
Yeah,
He'd be
exactly.
on like a daytime talk show talking about how he defeated the serial killer on this island.
Well,
or
he
something
should
like
be
that.
the new Val Kilmer, like the guy who's training.
Yeah, okay.
Whoever these people are.
Well, that's only in part 5 when he brings together all the survivors to make the ultimate Mindhunter
Yeah,
team.
yeah. He brings them on, and then they all come back. So everyone who died in this movie, you thought they were dead.
Johnny Lee Miller, Christian Slater,
Yeah.
Val
But
Kilmer. They're all evil
Johnny
now.
Lee Miller is like a good guy now because
Yeah, they need to get it. He's like the Hannibal Lecter. They go and have to get at the jail.
yeah.
And you just hear his voice at the end of like part 4. He's like, I hear you need some help with some weaknesses. And it's like, yeah!
Yeah, it's like I'm calling in an old friend. It's like, how you doing, LL? Good to see you again.
One thing I'd like to praise this movie for: very well lit for a
Yes.
dark movie.
Looks good.
Mostly at night.
It looks good.
I can, especially in that pool scene. They have like these nice bright
Yeah.
lights, like so you can really see everything. They're not trying to hide anything.
Well, this is before everything became Mushtown in
Yeah.
digital.
It's almost like a film has a dynamic
Yeah.
range that's much higher than any digital technology
Yes.
that we
Yeah.
utilize.
You know, you want the highs and the lows in the same frame. You don't always have to have just mush where you
Yeah.
can't see anything. And that was like the past couple of movies that we watched.
Well, we
had-
watched a bunch of new movies. New
Last
horror
Voyage of the
movies.
Demeter, I thought looked really good. It's a dark movie, but you've got that nice kind of rim, the nice sort of highlight. It makes it you can see clearly that what people are doing and what's happening on screen, not just gray mush.
So, Mindhunters is available on iTunes.
Yeah, it's great.
I bet you most people have never seen it. If it's not on a streaming service, even if you saw it, you might just look at the poster and think, "Oh, it's generic." Or you might even think it's like an asylum version of Mindhunter.
Yeah, it's a good
It's not-
good transfer too.
It is. It's a really, really fun movie, and I like doing movies on this podcast that not enough people have seen. People need to know about this movie and give it a chance. This would be very fun, I believe, to watch with a group of people.
Oh, for
Because there's
sure.
so many big set pieces
Yeah,
that get big reactions. So definitely...
And really good kills too.
Yeah, exactly. So put this on at your movie marathon. It is a hoot.
Love it.
Yes. So if you want to email the podcast, we're at nosuchthingAsABadMovie@gmail.com, and we're on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky at nosuchthingpod. And consider joining the Patreon if you want a bonus episode every 2 weeks. Patreon.com/nosuchthingAsABadMovie. We release a little mini episode every 2 weeks, mostly about new things. Next week we're talking about Fall of the House of Usher.
And we also answer Patreon subscribers' questions.
We also answer questions from you and on our at the end of our Patreon episodes. So check that out, and we also have some extra bonus material, commentaries, and extra episodes on the Patreon as well. If you want to check out our back catalog, and recently, if you are a fan of Your Movie Sucks and I Hate Everything on YouTube, Colin and I just guested on their podcast, Sardonicast. If you want to hear us talk about all the Cube movies, check that out. You can find it on YouTube and on other podcast places, Sardonicast. And was the idea to talk about Cube my idea? Yes, because I love that movie.
Wait, did you guys watch the Japanese remake of
We
Cube?
did.
I
Well, Colin
skimmed
did. Colin
through it.
actually
Oh, wow.
didn't. He just skimmed through it.
And how do you feel about people who say that Cube 2 Hypercube is the best one of the trilogy?
That they're insane.
Well, they're incorrect.
What are they talking about?
There's
What
no
are they
way
talking
it's better
about?
than the first one, but everyone's entitled to their own opinion, and we definitely talk about it on this podcast.
I would say it's one of the worst, if not the worst.
Well, it is hilariously bad.
Yes.
I'll give it that. But that's a 2.5-hour podcast. So if you want to hear us talk about all the Cube movies, please check it out. It was a lot of fun. And if you want to find me, I'm on Twitter and Instagram at April Atmansky.
You can find me on Twitter, DeClueJ, Instagram, Justin DeClue. I don't think I've ever given my Instagram on this, but I'm on there. And Blue Sky, yeah, I'm on there too. Letterboxd, Justin DeClue. Check it out.
Are you no longer DeClue J on Twitter?
No, I'm still DeClueJ on Twitter.
Oh,
But if you
okay.
search Justin DeClue, I'll come up as well because
Yeah.
that's my username.
Yeah. You can find me on Twitter, Sergeant Zima, SGTZIMA.
That's it for this week. That's all I have to say. It's a
That's all you have to say, April?
yeah.
Oh man.
We have Johnny Lee Miller.
Whoa,
Oh,
we
no,
have
we got
Owen
Owen
Wilson.
Wilson.
Is
We had
Hey,
Homer
that's
Simpson on this episode.
Johnny Lee Miller.
We had
and
Christopher
Owen Wilson.
Walken.
Let's go get some frosty chocolate milkshakes.
Shut up, boy.
I'm April Atmansky.
I'm going to kill you. Sorry, you're April
I'm
Atmansky?
April Atmansky.
I'm Justin
I'm
McClure.
Colin Cunningham.
And remember,
You're turning into Vincent D'Onofrio in Men in Black.
there's no such thing as a bad movie.